Okay, this track is "Twas the Day" from D2x. That is the artist known as Demarius Dixon. And this is, I think, an interesting part of the Best of 2025 project for me, is that it forces me, or maybe force is too strong, it encourages me to go look for some new music. What I find is that I love hip hop, but good hip hop doesn't find its way to me for whatever reason. I also really like positive hip hop because I think it's so uncommon in the world that when I hear a vocalist with a clear delivery, because I'll just maybe speak generally about the genre, I'm not really a fan of the sort of mumble rap and the monotone thing that is somewhat popular. So Demarius's delivery here is so clean and just intelligent and articulate. It's sometimes I think in rap there's an intention sort of maybe to make it hard to understand what the lyricist is saying. Here I think it's kind of the opposite. He's storytelling, and I think he wants you to know. He wants you to know his lived experience, and he wants you to take you on that journey. So I love the delivery and just sort of the uplifting parts of it. I mean, he's just talking about I'm a dreamer when I was young, but I focused on my growth, and now I'm digging deep. I'm trying to make it, and look, I've got this EP that's out, and I'm excited about it, but I'm also looking for my peace of mind. I think those types of topics are things that I relate to and that I want to hear about, and I like hearing a young man like this give his view of his life, which is clearly not something that I know or that I understand, but that I feel it in the way he delivers it. And so that's what really grabbed me with this artist. And sort of full disclosure, I went and I put some web searches in, and I said, I'd like to know about releases from 2025 of under the radar hip hop artists that are interesting. And so it brought back a list of ideas, and I listened to about 10 of them, and then I found a track that I liked. I don't remember if it was D2X or it was somebody else, but what I did in Spotify, which I think is a really cool feature, is that do you ever press go to radio from a single track? What that does is it's a little bit like Pandora, where it will basically create a dynamic playlist based on that particular track. And then I found D2X somewhere in that go-to radio from whatever it was, the song that I liked. It might have even been a McKinley song. I think it was. Maybe I'll grab that before this little section is over. But I think the main point here is that I went and I looked for some good hip hop, and I was really, really pleased by what I found. In fact, I ended up moving this one up to the first song for me on the playlist, because once I found it, I kind of haven't stopped listening to it. Gone back and listened to a lot more of this artist's work, and I just think very, very capable and interesting sound. I mean, I think in a lot of ways he sounds like some of the classics. Like, he's got some Jay-Z type delivery, which, if you're going to be a rapper in the modern world, having chops like Jay-Z, that's pretty high compliment. So it's a June release, and it's a 4-song EP, and all 4 songs are good, although the third song is kind of this spoken word song. So I think that's also fun to hear, that, he's got some range in the way he sees his art and stuff like that. A couple parts around the production of the song. I really dig the vocal restraint from him at the beginning, because it's kind of a storytelling vibe. And then as the song goes on, he kind of puts more energy into it, and more, not aggression, I guess, but just more like intentionality into the way he delivers it. It kind of like picks up the pace. And I think that's very, very smooth because he kind of hooks me with the storytelling at the beginning, and it's real clear what he has to say. And then as it kind of picks up pace, it becomes more rapid fire, and it's almost like, keep up with me, life is moving fast. And I think that's a cool vibe that's there as well. But also one of the production things that really grabbed me is that the female vocalist is sort of an overlay throughout. In fact, it's the feature of the chorus. He doesn't say anything in the chorus. I think he just says, yeah. And then she delivers it. And that's, I think, very slick. But there's this part in the verses where there's a female vocalist overlay, and then all of a sudden it just drops out. And in that verse it sort of makes space for the bass line. And the bass line in this track is very bouncy and uplifting and just fun. And so I think it's kind of cool that they sort of hide it behind it's not that they hide it, it's just that female vocalist is so powerful that it sort of takes dropping it out before you really hear that bass line. And that for the moment kind of shifts the tone, and it kind of gets into more of this like bouncy, okay, now we're jamming, now we're head nodding to this track. And I just think the production quality of that's very, very cool, with the cinematic intro and outro with the strings. So it made for, I think, a nice transition from the Sia Gray track. So yeah, there's a lot to like here, and I was just so pleased when I found this record. So Brett, I want to pass to you because I know that you tune into hip hop a lot, and so I'm interested to know your take on this track.
Well, I love this track, and I absolutely love the research that you did and exposing that process, because yeah, it gives a little bit more gravity to the selection of this particular track among the ones that you might have stumbled into along the way. I had on my list Talib Kweli, who had a release this year, who takes us all the way back to episode 1, track number 5 in episode number 1. There's a artist called Brother Ali. Dochi had a really killer release this year. And even Norman San, who was one of my best ofs from 2024, was on my list. So I had a lot of hip hop sort of lingering out there that didn't end up making it on any of my lists. So I was really pleased to see some hip hop show up on our best of, because I think similarly, hip hop doesn't come and find me easily. You know, it does take some digging, and so I appreciate the research that you did to find something that I think similar to you. I really love the pickup vibe of this song, like even the way the transition of the music, it's going up in key each time. So there's this like bubbling or effervescent kind of feel to it. And I love that part of the lyrics are pushing through the darker times. Again, just tracking back to what I was saying around longing and about the history of this year and how it's been challenging, and to have a song like this be released is a really great one to, I think, highlight. And then the note that you made around his range in terms of genres, like I love the strings that come in the middle of the song, that they're kind of throughout, but they get highlighted in a way at various points. And that just really drew me in deeper and made me want to listen more of this track and now of the album. And I love that you named the background vocalist and the way that she comes more to the fore. I initially wrote background soul singers, and then I went, at some point she's kind of screaming, and it's this like full on like just wailing, and I'm not even sure if I caught what she was saying, but that also the sort of spaciousness that gave and the intensity, while also I love that you named the lyricism is so crystal clear, like you can really hear his articulation of each sound and each word, and I so appreciate that, for all the reasons that you already spoke to. So killer track, good find. I'm excited to see where he's headed. You know, if you take a look at his Instagram feed, he's got lots of visuals of him like smiling, like a bright sunshiny smile, even though it's a gloomy day in the background. Like, the dude's got a way that he shines in the world that I'm excited to bring to the fore. So great find.
Yeah, I appreciate the find as well, knowing that I'm not the one that's seeking this out, but happy to have it kind of spoon-fed to me in this way, to have like the high quality, high positivity version of this. Y'all hit so many different things. The high-pitched backing vocals I thought were awesome on this, just soaring. The thing I'll jump out is Brett on the line of the visual and like his smile on his profile page, and like the boy in the blue hoodie. He even paints himself on the cover art. The picture on Instagram has him in this 2 shades of blue, dark blue on the top, and then like kind of royal blue, and it's kind of this wavy thing. He even paints it. Whoever painted him, sitting on his floor, I'm assuming that's him, on the floor of his room with that same wavy sweatshirt. It kind of looks like he's got like a sweatshirt on top of a sweatshirt, but it's this cool boy in the blue hoodie kind of image that he's got. I sat and stared at all the images in his room. Again, I'm assuming this is his room, but like class of 2016, this guy's in his 20s, Chicago based. I love that there's some Midwest flavor to this. And just kind of like resonating of what he's singing about. And I think there was another release that he said, this is from my journal. This is just me getting it out there, and the healing that's associated with that. I love that. It's not something I listen to a lot. So Sean, I appreciate the direct, hey, you would like this, because I do. So D2X, Twas the Day. Today's his day on the Stone Soup. It definitely is well deserved.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm glad that it does reach you in that way, and this is, we'll see it come back to me in other ways because of songs that y'all are introducing. But I'm happy to bring this forward. This is so new that it's not even on whosampled.com, because I was interested, as we are in hip hop, to go find out what some of the contributions are. So either there are no samples, or meaning they sort of created the song organically with their instruments and their technology, or it's just so new that it hasn't landed there. Nor could I find any of the lyrics. So I think that's also a piece about it just being a little bit underground, which makes it feel fun to shine a light on it, because it's easily not only one of the best songs of the year, in my opinion, but it's one of the best hip hop songs I've heard in 20 years. I like the delivery. I like that he's speaking about his lived experience. I also like that, he's got this big beaming smile, and you had named that. I think maybe both of you had, and I think that's a fun part of it. One last thing for me before we play it is that I had mentioned that that Root song. I think it was actually a McKinley Dixon song, and that was what had brought back. And then when I did the go-to radio, there was D2X that followed that McKinley Dixon stem. So a little bit like a fractal, I guess, but that's kind of how I found it, and maybe that's a way for each of you to enjoy finding some new music. So with that, we'll get into it. This is from the 4-song EP released in June of this year, called The Boy in the Blue Hoodie. This is the song Twas the Day from D2X.